One of my favorite things about the Ableton Live program is the way in which the program allows you to use third-party audio unit and VST plugin effects and instruments. These are any plugin effects or instruments that are not included with the Ableton Live program. We're going to specifically look at audio unit and VST instruments in a separate movie, and in this movie we're going to look at the plugin effects in those formats. The first thing you want to do to make sure that you have access to your VST and audio units, and I should mention here that on a PC you're going to have access to VST plugins only. Mac users will have access to audio units and VST. You're going to want to open Live's Preferences, go to the File folder Preferences, and make sure that your Use Audio Units and Used VST plugin system folders are turned on. If you have a custom folder of VST plugins, this would be a separate folder containing only the VSTs you want to use in Ableton Live. You could turn that on instead of the plugin system folders, which accesses all of the VSTs on your system. Once you've turned on Use Audio Units and Use VST plugin system folders buttons, close out of that and you'll have access to all of your audio units and all of your VSTs. Now let's take a look at some of the differences between using a audio unit or VST plugin and using one of Live's included plugins. I'm going to add this Digital Fish Phone's Blockfish compressor, and I'm going to simultaneously add an audio effect compressor. Let's see. And this is the compressor that's included with Ableton Live, and we took a look at Ableton Live's included effects in a different movie. Now let's take a look at some of these differences. First of all, when I select the Blockfish here, I've got my device activator just as I do with the compressor. I've got an unfold button that shows me some different parameters. We'll talk about those in a moment. But here I've got what's called a plugin edit button, and that shows and hides the plugin's original interface. Now using the plugin's interface, I can actually create variations to my plugins. Here we have the remote control hand that lets me know, just as it does over here, that I can control this plugin device remotely. We have a hot swap presets button, and we have a save preset button. To access any included presets that come with an audio unit, I'll have to click the hot swap presets button. This will take me directly to the Blockfish inside the Digital Fish Phones folder, in my audio units folder, and it shows me all of the factory presets. Let's go with this fat drum loop preset. Turn that off. I'm going to show you the unfold device parameters function here. And what this does is it shows me how Live interprets this plugin and the various parameters that are available, and I can control them down here and see the changes take place up here, or I can control them up here and see the changes take place down here. It's really dependent on whichever format you're most comfortable working in. I personally prefer to work within the plugin's interface. Down here we have what are called the XY parameters, and this allows me to assign any two functions available here to this little graph, and I can then change, let's see if I can find some that will be visible on the interface. And then I can use this to change these and create variations to my effect. So that's an interesting way to control effects and create different kinds of variations. When I'm ready to save a preset, I just click the Save Preset button. Type a name and save it. Now, as you saw, the included presets were only available when I click the Hot Swap Preset button. Let's add this here. Whereas the presets that I create and save myself will be available anytime I open the Blockfish. Let's go ahead now and take a look at a VST. There are some important differences here. I'm going to go to my VST folder here. Something else I want to mention about the Blockfish before we move on, by the way, that this is a free plugin that's available in both audio unit and VST formats, cross-platform for both OS X and Windows users, and you can find it at www.digitalfishphones.com. Moving on to another set of free VST plugins, and by the way, you of course are not limited to using free plugins. There are many commercial VST and audio unit plugins available as well, all of which will work with Ableton Live 7. But this is another free plugin from the Delta series, and it's available from www.expdigital.co.uk. Let's go ahead and hear that without the effect, and with the effect. Now we've got some very obvious similarities here. The device activator, the unfold device parameters, just exactly the same as with audio units. We've got our plugin edit button, and we've got our remote control hand that lets us know we can control this remotely. There are some important differences here. If your VST comes with presets, they will be available from this preset menu. Not all VSTs come with presets, but those that do, you'll see them right here on this preset menu. And you can switch between presets by selecting them from the menu. We also have the same assignable XY controls. Saving presets is another matter with VSTs. Now I'm going to go ahead and click my Save Preset or Bank button here. And this is going to give me the opportunity to navigate to wherever I want, basically, to save my presets. Now I choose to save my presets in whatever folder the plugin is actually contained in. And this just makes it easy for me to find and reload my presets. You also have the option to save banks of presets or individual presets for VSTs. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to save a preset, a single preset. For my Delta Series VST, and I'm going to click the Save button, and it's going to be going into my plugin settings folder. Now when I want to load my preset, I click the Load button, and I navigate to the folder containing my preset. Click Open, and it loads my preset. Just as you can with Live's included plugins, you can create chains of plugin effects, adding as many as you want to any audio or MIDI track, and you can move them around and change the order of effects. Selecting multiple ones by holding down my Shift key and then control clicking, right clicking, and selecting Group to create a rack. And we will take a look at effects racks in the next movie.